Hi, I'm Mike Zyda, and today's presentation is entitled Hype Me to the Moon, Let Me Dream Among the AI Stars. Let me share my slides, and that'll be good. There they are. Let's hit play. Okay, Hype Me to the Moon. The real title of the paper in IEEE Computer is Hype Me to the Moon, Let Me Dream Among the AI Stars. Let's give up on that guy who wants to go to Mars. And the abstract is the generative AI business in a hype cycle, or are we really going somewhere with it all other than a narcissistic trip to a distant planet? In a previous talk and paper, I spoke about the AI hype cycle and how it historically ended with unrealistic expectations being held and disappointments to funders, with all of this resulting in funding cuts and researchers and investors abandoning the area. And now we don't really know if we are in a hype cycle, but there are many signals that indicate that we may be. And if we are, we need to know so that we can plan for a smoother landing. And to top it all off, we are in the midst of a very large self-inflicted financial crisis that was completely avoidable. Here is the picture from what is the hype in AI mean, and I think I just said it in text. Right now, mega companies, the so-called Magnificent Seven, Apple, Alphabet, Google, Amazon, Meta Platforms, NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Tesla, are spending big bucks on data centers running giga numbers of power-sucking NVIDIA machines, as if that was the path to the truth, the way, and the light. If we are in a hype cycle, then we need to call it out, especially since our AI stars are building these centers in locations short on power and where there is a delicate and fragile power infrastructure, Texas maybe, that currently can barely provide power for heating and cooling for the people that live there. And many of these places are also far away from universities capable of graduating engineers that can actually build and run said data centers. This is the overview of my thoughts for building this paper. Well, NVIDIA stock was going to the moon, and now it's below the 2024 stock split level, despite the promises of mega companies to purchase millions of GPUs at a time. We see Microsoft planning on investing $80 billion into AI data centers in 2025. Additionally, we see Microsoft signing a 20-year deal with Constellation Energy to purchase power from the renovated 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant, with Constellation spending $1.6 billion to restart the facility. We see Google investing $75 billion in AI data centers in 2025 after having spent $52.5 billion in 2024 on AI and cloud infrastructure. We see Meta Platforms investing $65 billion in AI infrastructure in 2025, including a massive AI data center in Louisiana. Meta is also discussing a $200 billion AI data center in states like Louisiana, Wyoming, and Texas. I guess they have to choose which one to do. Amazon Web Services, AWS, is investing over $100 billion in 2025 to boost its AI and cloud infrastructures, including building new data centers and upgrading existing ones to support AI services. We see xAI is part of a $30 billion fund with Microsoft and BlackRock, an investment management firm for AI data centers. Plus, xAI is building the Colossus supercomputer in Memphis, which is expected to house at least 1 million GPUs, with $25 billion being spent on the high-end GPUs alone. And xAI planned expenditure seems low in comparison to some of the other mega companies in this space. Other companies dabbling in this space are Oracle, which is investing in AI and cloud infrastructure to about $11.5 billion, with $5 billion of that in the United Kingdom and $6.5 billion in Malaysia for a public cloud region. IBM is actively investing in AI and cloud services, and IBM has booked $2 billion in AI work for 2025 and is developing technologies to enhance data centers. Well, if we have hype rather than big business development, we would expect to hear a lot of noise and wild promises, but not see large expenditures. So let's look at total expenditures and the numbers of GPUs to be acquired in 2025. In figure 3, we see Microsoft, $80 billion, Alphabet, Google, $75 billion, Meta Platforms, $65 billion, Amazon, $100 billion, XAI, $30 billion, ByteDance, Alibaba, Tencent Holdings, $16 billion, IBM, $2 billion, Oracle, $11.5 billion. So the total AI expenditures in 2025 is about $379.5 billion. Not a small number, in fact. It is a very nice number in terms of infrastructure spending. Let's move on. We want to figure out how many GPUs this is going to buy. We always like to know. The reason we want to know how many it's going to buy, we want to know is, can we actually build that many? All right. So I already know that 1 million NVIDIA H200 Blackwell GPUs is about $25 billion. If we subtract out the Chinese GPU investment, this is $363.5 billion for H200s, or 14.5 million H200 GPUs. China is restricted to the purchase of H20 GPUs, which are 6.8 times slower than the H200 NVIDIA GPUs. So ByteDance, Alibaba Group, Tencent Holdings can purchase some 4.3 million H220 GPUs for their $16 million investment. So the real question then becomes, how fast can NVIDIA and TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, punch these GPUs out? Can they even make them all in 2025? And we asked ChatGPT what was NVIDIA's production capacity in 2025, and it said no number was released for 2024 or 2025. It did state, ChatGPT did state that in 2023, NVIDIA shipped around 3.76 million data center GPUs, which is way short of the 14.5 million H200s being ordered in 2025. The 3.76 million number is about the number that the 3 Chinese AI companies require, but the 4.3 million H20 GPUs. So in order for NVIDIA to meet the planned 14.5 million GPU orders for 2025, it has to have increased its production capacity by 3.9 times over its 2023 production capability. Wow. Lots of demand, but 4 times too small a production capacity in 2023, but maybe a reasonable 2025. We see NVIDIA and TSMC building new plants, and hopefully they can get to that number. So we're not in a hype cycle, but the market crash and the current economic mess, we don't see this easily happening, as the placement of money by companies onto the GPU production bus may no longer be possible. How many large language models are there? There are way too many large language models. I am not sure that it's possible for me to count them all. I listed the obvious ones, the ones from the mega companies in the news. So OpenAI is the starting point, and the question to ask is, how many ChatGPTs are there? It seems there is a new one with a special purpose almost every week, and most people I know are using ChatGPT of some version. The biggest issue with ChatGPT, though, is its legal problem over the licensing of the training data used in creating the GPT line of models. Amazon has Alexa and SageMaker for their AI models, and they're very primitive, but they are nowhere near the ChatGPT's capabilities. Amazon does offer Anthropic's Claude models on AWS. OpenAI's GPT models are not available on AWS. AWS does offer its Amazon Nova and Amazon Titan AI models on AWS, as well as other foundational models through Amazon Bedrock. Anthropic is the one most people ask me about with respect to investing. Anthropic's Claude LLM is listed as good for customer support, content creation, natural language processing, and AI safety. So it seems it has several great reasons for its existence and usage. Google has its own model, Gemini, and there's also Gemini Pro. And Gemini is good for natural language understanding, conversation, and other capabilities. In my experience, Gemini seems less capable than ChatGPT. And I have found that often Gemini gives me made up or just plain wrong answers for the question I asked. Besides Gemini, Google has other large language models, BERT, Lambda, and others built internally as part of their research efforts. XAI has Grok, which is integrated into X, forever known as Twitter. XAI's Grok most likely will die, as the CEO has stopped paying attention to his quiver of companies. Hopefully he will be successful in flying to Mars. The Grok model focuses on real-time information retrieval and conversation, And Grok is, and this is my favorite quote, designed to be helpful, honest, and harmless, integrating data from X, forever known as Twitter. And we all laughed at that statement, so I had to put it into this article. None of us believe that it's honest and harmless. Microsoft licenses OpenAI's GPT series of models and additionally has its own Turing NLG. Turing NLG is a powerful natural language generation model known for its ability to generate human-like text, understand context, and assist in various applications like chatbots, summarization, and content creation. Turing NLG is a very capable model and will succeed as Microsoft is a mega company with a long history of success. Meta Platforms has its Llama series of models, which are known to be outstanding for natural language processing, and the Llama series of models are available on Amazon Web Services through Amazon Bedrock. DeepSeek's R1 model excels at coding, mathematical reasoning, and general comprehension tasks. It is a Chinese model that has had some recent success. DeepSeek's R1 models are available on Amazon Bedrock. United States companies may avoid using it because it is from China, which is just the way it goes at this point in time politically. And I find that very sad. All right. IBM Watson AI works well, has been deployed by IBM over many application domains and for many years. IBM is mostly not in the news with respect to large language models, but they have a long history of deploying technology quietly. Oracle says that it uses its large language models embedded into their cloud infrastructure for enterprise solutions, but there is a rare press about their large language model efforts. So lots of models to choose from, which makes it difficult, but choosing OpenAI's GPT series or Google's Gemini once it has been cleaned up, Anthropic's Claude, Microsoft's Turing NLG, or Meta's Llama seem like reasonable choices. It comes down to what is your favorite company? And that favorite company might just be Amazon AWS, as it provides standardized access to almost all of the foundational models. If it did ChatGPT, it would have the entire business, probably. Eventually, these models will merge in capability and will all seem like the same thing, is my belief, especially since we will most likely end up getting them through Amazon AWS, just like our groceries. Well, after all that, we see a great business in building GPU hardware to be placed in all of the promised data centers, but we don't know when all of those centers will receive their GPUs to be installed there. That is up to NVIDIA and TSMC. We see there are plenty of great LLMs, many with overlapping purposes and differing qualities of outputs that will be repaired over time as our ability to train them better improves. So I want to say not on the hype label, except for the statements by that CEO that needs to get to Mars soonest, please. These are the references, not too many references, this time just one to a previous paper that came out in March 2024, a year ago. All of the numbers in AI infrastructure investments were searched for using ChatGPT 4.0 on the 4th of April, 2025. And we hope they are accurate. I believe they look pretty reasonable. The author wishes to thank those readers who have gotten to the end of this bi-monthly column and talk without finding all of the deliberate and accidental errors. And I apologize for my personal commentaries, but I think they're very important for our futures. And I really do hope that a select section of mankind ends up on Mars. If you have any questions, there's my email, there's my website. I'll put the draft of this paper up on the website, and when it comes out from my EEE, I believe in July sometime, I'll put the PDF of that as well up there. Anyway, you have a great day. We'll stop sharing screen. It automatically did that. Oh, that's very cool. Super nice. Anyway, have a great day. This has been the Games Column YouTube presentation for this month. Have a great day.